We live in a time where change is happening at a pace never seen before.
Digital is the next industrial revolution. Digital technologies opens up a lot of doors.
Cutting-edge tech is changing the way we live, work and play.
Wow.
All businesses today are dealing with mega structures. The competency comes from the ability to manage the data, to manage the information, to manage the process.
Industry 4.0 basically augments human performance.
The pressure is on for every sector to be faster, better, smarter.
So the schedule is really very tight. Turnaround time is really an asset that we don't have.
Giving good service is not good enough. People expect personalized service and people want to feel special.
And it really requires a complete change in how do we think and how do we serve our customers.
My name is Shivvy Jervis and I'm a tech futurist. I'm here to uncover tech trends and their impact on our future. And where else should I take off from but the rapidly evolving aviation industry? Singapore is a city that eats, sleeps, and breathes technology. For a futurist like me, it is the place to be. If I'm on the hunt for hidden tech infrastructure, Changi is clearly the place to start. Changi is one of the world's busiest airports, receiving more than 62 million passengers each year. Flights take off or land at Changi Airport every 80 seconds. The sheer amount of logistics to keep this place running smoothly is overwhelming. As a futurist, I want to look under the hood and see how digital technology is helping passengers and baggage get to their destination on time, all while maintaining a high-quality experience.
Hey, good to meet you.
I reached out to the person in the eye of the storm, Hub Experience Manager Quentin Chin. He took me to the nerve center of Changi Airport, where his team from Singapore Airlines identifies potential disruptions.
So what I have is an app called Apex that allows me to have information of all my flights at my fingertips. At the click of a button, I'm able to see very quickly which are my flights coming late, how many passengers are affected, if there are any special passenger handling that needs to be done.
What sort of information are you processing?
Oh, we're getting a lot of information from the systems, as you can see. We are getting passenger information, transfer connectivity information, baggage loading status. Now, Sophian, are any flights coming in late?
There is one SQ212 is delayed about an hour.
Okay. We will have 15 passengers affected by the delay, and they're all connecting to a flight to Denpasar.
According to Quentin, flight disruptions can happen every now and then due to unforeseeable factors such as bad weather, natural disasters, technical defects, and air traffic control, among others.
Stop. I have 2 passengers. Need to express to the gate. Going to Bali. Okay. Gate closing 10 minutes.
Come, hop on. Come.
All right. Hey, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Is my bag loaded?
Can I have your baggage tag, sir?
Sure.
I've checked the system and your bag is loaded on the flight.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The digital Swiss Army knife that allows him to stay on top of this data is the Apex app. It provides Singapore Airlines ground staff with real-time updates of flight status, passenger handling information, baggage status, and other functionalities on the go. This facilitates proactive customer servicing, which in turn provides a seamless customer experience. Once the passengers arrived safely at their gate, I caught up with Quentin on the situation that just happened.
Quentin, that was really impressive. He gave you his baggage tag, and from the app, you instantly knew that his luggage was safe and secure.
With this information on my fingertips, it makes my job that much easier.
So good for you and good for your passenger.
Exactly.
And for companies like Singapore Airlines, innovation doesn't stop there. So how does technology improve the airline's famed service? The bridge between the physical and digital worlds is found in this tool, known as the Beyond Excellence Service Through Technology device, or BEST device to its friends. This cyber assistant tracks passenger info like flight details, preferred seats, or dietary requirements, and it is proving its worth to in-flight manager Shirley.
In the past, we used to have the handover notes. We write physical handover notes, and it can be quite tedious. Sometimes we may get fake ink, and then the information is lost.
Yeah.
Now it's just a click of the button.
Yeah.
Everything is there. For example, we are doing the Sing Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We received this information. Ms. Tan is left-handed. And then please take note and ensure that appropriate table layout is for Ms. Tan.
Correct.
And this is consistent throughout all her travelling journey.
Right.
With the support of this hidden digital backend, it allows the airline to take its famed customer service to greater heights. Digital technology is enabling even the most established of industries to transform the way they connect with their customers. If digital tools are addressing needs at an industry level, how are they transforming the way we do this at a broader national level? You don't have to dig deep to find the hidden tech powering Singapore. It is literally built on innovation. It has to be. The entire country is squeezed into a packet of land half the size of London. The placement of every single building counts. It is a puzzle that affects the lives of over 5.6 million people.
In Singapore, like all cities, we have to make sure there's enough housing and amenities for our people, enough spaces for businesses, and as a country, we have enough space to cater for things like utilities, port and airport, reservoirs, and defence, which most other cities would locate outside the city itself. So in URA, we actually use data from various domains, including land and infrastructure, population and amenities, and also about how people and vehicles move.
And with data like this, it can end up looking a lot like those city simulation games I love. But this guy is doing it for real.
Now, this looks to me like a high-res digital recreation of Singapore.
You're right. The architects and the planners use it to simulate, to visualize the future proposals in its existing context.
It's a digital twin of Singapore, accurate down to the square inch, facilitating more robust planning decisions, running limitless future scenarios to evaluate buildings in the context of their surroundings, and to find the perfect configuration that best caters to the needs of the public.
I want to ensure that there's sufficient shade that's being cast on the park. So you can see the shadows have been cast.
Right.
And you can then overlay the different shadows that's being cast over a number of days in order to study the shadow patterns that's being cast on a future public space.
In fact, this 3D model of the city is so precise, it can even forecast line of sight, allowing planners to ensure important landmarks can be seen by everyone without obstruction.
As a national monument, we want to ensure that it has great views. The green lines show that you can see the target along this stretch of the road over here. With the right tools and the right data, it allows us to plan a lot faster, a lot smarter for the benefit of the public.
Yeah, and ultimately, I suppose, make a city smarter and sustainable.
That's correct.
It's hard to imagine how data can be used to place every single building, tree, road, and bike path in the country. But that's exactly what's happening. And now, something I could never do with SimCity, I'm going to step into this world and see what it's like up close.
Sufficiency of parks.
So, Tuan, I want to understand how data is powering the creation of some of these fantastic amenities that we're seeing in front of us.
We have data right at our fingertips through ePlanner. This information could be on housing, demography, flows. It helps planners to assess the ground conditions and inform us in our planning decisions. For example, I can click on the park where we are at, and out comes the information on how many households. It helps us plan for these amenities to be accessible to the residents around us. Another layer related to accessibility is understanding how people move, for example, from their places of origins to their destinations. By clicking here, we see that quite a high proportion of residents travel to the city centre. This helps us to plan for transport infrastructure, such as bus stops, cycling paths, which connect towns to parks, to amenities, to the job centres.
So cleaner, more eco-friendly options as well.
Definitely.
So that's the land problem solved. Or is it? Space has been found for housing and transport infrastructure. But this city relies on a multitude of different networks. Where do we put the utilities? To find the answer, look down, way down.
Right, look at that. My goodness, that's
amazing?
a drop, isn't it?
Yes.
SB Group is building giant underground tunnels that will be home to a vast network of electricity cables. When completed, it will house over 1,000 kilometers of high-voltage cables, supplying power to 1 out of every 5 households and factories. It will also facilitate renewal of key assets, thereby safeguarding Singapore's electricity supply for the future. By placing these cables deep underground, Singapore is freeing up valuable real estate at ground level.
So Ryan, how far underground are we?
We are about 60 meters below ground, and that's equivalent to a height of a 20-story building.
My goodness, that's incredibly deep.
This is a mammoth undertaking. We are building not just for the present, but also future as well. This tunnel actually is built to last more than 100 years. This is to ensure that Singapore, moving forward, will always have optimal electricity infrastructure network.
This is what true 21st century infrastructure looks like. But something tells me we're not alone. What strange creatures inhabit this subterranean world? Ryan introduces me to Chung Tien.
Brilliant, thank you.
Perhaps he can shed some light.
As you're aware, this tunnel is very long. Instead of sending a maintenance crew to conduct a manual inspection and identify defects, we actually think of an idea using a robot, which we call an automatic inspection vehicle, to do a similar task.
I'm extremely interested. I want to see how this works now.
The AIV is programmed to travel through the entire tunnel, snapping as many as 40,000 photos. These images are analyzed for discrepancies. Any potential defects are flagged for the maintenance crew's attention. Everything from water leaks or debris to electrical hotspots using thermal cameras.
As you can see, the example of AIV actually helps us to do things faster, smarter, more accurate. It definitely helps us to improve the productivity and actually can upgrade our skills and we can even do more with less.
Using mind-blowing new digital technology, Singapore is building infrastructure that's not only futuristic, but also future-proofed. But it goes even further. Singapore relies on an ever-widening network of interactions beyond the physical world. And this is what I want to explore next. I've only been in Singapore a couple of days, and already I'm seeing the fingerprint of digital networks everywhere I look, from transport to infrastructure. They're finding innovative solutions to problems we've been living with for decades. I've been collecting air miles for years, but I never know what to do with them. So I meet up with Rachel Tan, and she spills the tea on the way these miles can be used.
KrisPay is the new blockchain-based digital miles wallet that allows KrisFlyer members to use their miles instantly for purchases right from their mobile phones.
This is the world's first blockchain-based airline loyalty digital miles wallet. Whether it's for a cup of tea or getting your hands on the latest tech gizmos, KrisPay customers can now use their miles for everyday purchases from the convenience of their mobile phones securely. The buzz around blockchain is to do with how it's completely disrupted how financial transactions are managed. Instead of storing records on a single computer, blockchains store information across multiple computers on a network. To defraud the system, you would have to hack each computer on the network simultaneously, a feat that is infinitely more difficult than a single-point attack. This technology could revolutionize the financial world, and Singapore has embraced the power and security of this new system.
This is the first time in the history of IT, really, where we're able to hold these digital assets ourselves on our own hard drives with the guarantees that they haven't been counterfeited. So that's why I think it's revolutionary. I think over the past year, great strides have been made in enterprise blockchains. We're seeing companies explore blockchain technologies. So taking similar concepts from Bitcoin and Ethereum, but applying them for the particular business uses and seeing if this technology can be used to improve their processes.
What was the motivation for you guys behind developing CrispPay, and why now?
Well, essentially, we heard from our customers that they would like more redemption options beyond the traditional flight redemptions so that miles do not go to waste.
Customers definitely want everything and they want it now. Yes. And this is a good way to deliver that seamlessly across the on and offline experience.
Yes.
Finally, more ways to spend my miles. And the key to this digital wallet is my biometrics combined with blockchain.
After you set up CrispPay with your biometrics, just use your Face ID to log in.
Okay.
The total would be $25.90, please.
Click on Pay, scan the QR code.
All right.
Key in the amount to pay. And we're all done. Thank you, Shivvy, for the tea.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm sold on blockchain, but I want to see it in action. So I'm getting Siak Chua from Singapore Airlines to show me what's under the hood.
Okay, this is our Digital Innovation Lab. Basically, it's set up as part of the company's blueprint to facilitate ideation, encourage collaboration with the industry and startup companies in a conducive environment.
Great, that's a really good remit.
This is the blockchain console, basically where the mining activity takes place. I will just do a top-up of 10 KF miles, top-up, confirm. And if you can see the pending transaction, it will be 1 in pending mode, and shortly the mining takes place and is persisted in the blockchain.
Synced up quite seamlessly, isn't it?
Yes.
This may seem simple, even trivial, but it's not. Working together with innovative startups like Data Republic to tech behemoths like Google, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft for various digital initiatives, this is just the beginning of a complete transformation. Everywhere you look, traditional industries are incorporating digital technology into their business. I want to hear about this transition directly from the source, and so I sought out Singapore Airlines' George Wang. Can he explain what one of the most successful airlines in the world is trying to achieve with these efforts to embrace technology?
For Singapore Airlines, our vision, our aspiration is to be the leading digital airline in the world. We want our operation to be efficient and effective, to offer the best customer experience. Our focus is to reimagine our operational journey, to automate the process, and also to give the information to our employees at the front line.
What are some of the areas that Singapore Airlines wants to focus on in terms of this digital revolution?
There are a number of areas of technology we're looking at, but, whether the cloud, the API, microservices, blockchain, the data, the AI, leveraging on the startup community and working with the research institute to do deeper technology. We want to offer the best customer experience. Whether they buy, whether we serve them, it's the best experience for them.
Digital technology is not just transforming customer service, but is also revolutionizing our lives. Technologies like AI, robotics, and blockchain are delivering products and services with a high level of personalization, reliability, and efficiency. These are enriching our jobs and everyday lives in unimaginable ways. While all these innovations are enhancing how we live our lives, breakthroughs in technology can also tell a more personal story about how we think. Neuroscientist Adam Kampf has designed a way to step inside our thoughts and ideas.
Right now, we think neurons are the fundamental unit of how networks and circuits and ultimately the brain functions. And in order to see what one neuron is doing, you need to get a tiny thing nearby to record its signal. Making those things really tiny so that they can live in your brain for a long period of time is a real technical challenge. It's feasible in a horizon, a few decades, and the stuff we're doing in NeuroSeeker is absolutely a required first step.
In order to get an unprecedented look into the human brain, he built his own scanner from scratch.
Do you want to see the probe?
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not sure this is helpful. We only made 16 in the first round, so this thing costs 400,000 euros to make, don't drop it.
Adam's scanner has allowed him to collect vast amounts of data from a human brain, a torrent of thoughts and ideas captured in real time. And he has mapped this data into a virtual space which he's letting me explore.
Aha, very interesting.
Let me dive into an actual recording of brain activity.
So what you're seeing is every colored symbol is one blip of activity that recorded from a part of the brain. You can take these controllers.
Right.
And I find the most practical and currently easiest way to do this is to put those neurons around my room, play back the activity where I can change the time scale, make it go faster or slower. And if you pinch the top of the controllers, you can open and close and expand, make the cells bigger. You can enter inside of the different clusters. And what we do is we wander around and we try to assemble the neurons that were recorded from the brain into a network.
Now, while I find this virtual tour through thought processes of the human brain fascinating, it's an extremely powerful tool for a trained neuroscientist.
So Adam, what this is doing for me is taking this from the abstract and perhaps something that's a bit obtuse and actually really making it tangible, such that I can not only see, but almost travel through this information, right? And immerse myself in it in a way that I might not have been able to do before.
So having complex data in space gives your brain the ability to keep track of what's where, and even who's related to, who's close by. It makes sense, it's physically next to. What's really powerful is that when we're in parallel listening to the input to the system, then your task is actually not only to keep track of where the data, where the activity is, but to start to predict what's going to come next. And I think that's going to be when we start to understand. When we can predict from this input how the brain is going to respond, that intuition is really going to drive neuroscience forward.
That's really powerful stuff.
With mind reading soon becoming a reality thanks to advancements in technology, what does this mean for a growing international airline renowned for their personal touch? Campbell Wilson seems to have the answer to that question.
Yes, exactly. At 8,000 cabin crew and thousands more frontline staff, how do you continue to provide that level of customer service that we hold very dear? And technology is now the enabler of that, with our customer experience management system being this repository for customer experience with us, their likes, their dislikes. We are now making that available to our frontliners, cabin crew, the ground service staff, so that they can solve customer problems before the customer often realizes they have a problem. And it's fronted, for the most part, by a human being. That is the DNA of Singapore Airlines.
Join me in the next episode where I'll be exploring how this big digital shift is set to reinvent the physical world and how we interact with it.